I, 30F, have been married to Sam, 36M, for 6 years. We're immigrants in NYC and have worked hard to build a stable life here. We both have good jobs now and own a small but comfortable apartment. The issue is with Sam's younger brother Mike, 32M, who came to the US 2 years ago despite my strong objections. Some background on Mike: back in our home country, he lived with their mother and was completely dependent on her. My mill constantly complained about his behavior. He never held a job for more than a few months, spent all his money partying, borrowed from everyone he knew, and left his elderly mother to settle his debts. He had a gambling problem too, though he claimed he quit years ago. Mill had to remortgage her house twice to pay off his debts. When Mike first talked about coming to the US, I was strongly against it. I knew he would become our responsibility. Our culture emphasizes helping family, and being the older brother, Sam would feel obligated to support Mike. I had long discussions with Sam about this. I pointed out how Mike had never shown any sign of wanting to improve his life. He just expected others to bail him out of his problems. Sam agreed with my concerns but still wanted to help Mike. His main reason was removing Mike's burden from their aging mother. Mill is 65 and has health issues. Sam felt guilty living comfortably in the US while she struggled with Mike's problems. He thought maybe a fresh start in America would motivate Mike to change. I knew better but supported my husband's decision. When Mike arrived, we helped set him up. I put my foot down about him living with us. Our apartment is too small, I value my privacy. Sam found him a room for $600 per month in Queens. We paid 3 months' rent up front, bought him basic furniture, clothes, hygiene products, a new phone, and everything else he needed to start his life here. Sam asked his friend John to give Mike a job at his construction company. The pay was decent and John even offered to train him. For the first few months, things seemed okay. Mike came over for dinner often, and we included him in all family events and holidays. He asked to borrow money sometimes, $100 here, $200 there, which we provided. After 6 months though, we had some unexpected expenses and told Mike we couldn't lend him money anymore. He acted understanding but started asking Sam secretly, putting my husband in an awkward position. Over the past 2 years, Mike changed jobs 5 times. He got fired from the construction job for constantly showing up late. Then he worked at various restaurants and stores, never lasting more than a few months. He lived paycheck to paycheck despite having no real expenses besides rent and food. Somehow he always had money for partying but claimed poverty when rent was due. I grew to strongly dislike him. His entitled attitude and lack of gratitude annoyed me endlessly. He would come over unannounced, raid our fridge, and leave mess everywhere. He made inappropriate comments about my appearance and our lifestyle. Every time he visited or stayed overnight, I found myself hiding in my bedroom to avoid him. This fall, Mike lost his latest job at a warehouse. Instead of looking for new work, he spent 3 weeks doing nothing but playing video games and partying. Then he gave up his room and went traveling with his friend while collecting unemployment benefits. He didn't even tell us. We found out when his landlord called asking about him. 2 days ago, Mike called Sam saying he's returning to NYC and wants to stay with us until he finds a job in a new place. Without consulting me, Sam said okay and told me later that Mike might stay for a month or 2. I completely lost it. I yelled at Sam for enabling his brother's irresponsible behavior. Then I called Mike directly and told him he could stay maximum 2 weeks. I was harsh and told him exactly what I thought of him, that he was a lazy mooch who needed to grow up and stop depending on others. Now Sam is upset with me. He says I'm forcing him to choose between his wife and brother. I understand Sam's position. He's genuinely kind and generous. It hurts him to see his brother struggle. If we don't take Mike in, he might end up homeless. How would Sam explain that to their mother? But I refuse to have my home invaded by someone who makes me uncomfortable and has shown zero intention of improving his life. Based on my experience with Mike, there's very little chance he'll find accommodation in 2 weeks without job, money or credit history. But that's not my problem. Sam has already sacrificed enough for his brother. We sent money to their mother monthly, helped Mike get established here, and covered his shortfalls multiple times. There has to be a limit. The extended family is now involved, calling me heartless for not helping family in need. My own parents think I should be more understanding since Mike is family. But I believe enabling his behavior only makes things worse. Ida for putting my foot down and refusing to let Mike stay with us longer than 2 weeks. Update 1, it's been 2 weeks since my last post. Thanks to everyone who commented. Your support helped me stay firm in my decision. A lot has happened, so let me update you all. After I gave Mike the 2-week ultimatum, he seemed to take it seriously at first. He started job hunting and had several interviews lined up. Sam was happy seeing his brother make an effort. Mike even helped around the house and kept his space clean. I started wondering if maybe I had been too harsh in my judgment. But things took an unexpected turn last week. I came home early from work one day because I wasn't feeling well. Mike was supposed to be at a job interview. Instead, I found him in our apartment with some woman I'd never seen before. They were drinking and looked very cozy on our couch. When I walked in, the woman quickly gathered her things and left. I confronted Mike about skipping his interview. He got defensive and said it was none of my business how he spent his time. When I reminded him he had only 1 week left to find a place, he smirked and said Sam would never kick his own brother out. That's when I noticed something odd about his behavior. He seemed unusually confident for someone about to be homeless. I decided to check our security camera footage from the past week. What I saw made my blood boil. Mike had been bringing different women to our apartment almost every day while we were at work. He was using our place like his personal dating spot. Even worse, I caught him going through our bedroom multiple times. I called Sam at work and asked him to come home. When we checked our bedroom thoroughly, we discovered several items missing, some of my jewelry, Sam's expensive watch, and about $500 in emergency cash we kept in a drawer. I wanted to call the police, but Sam begged me not to. He said it would destroy their mother if Mike got arrested. Sam finally confronted his brother. Mike broke down and admitted he'd been gambling again. He lost all his savings and borrowed money from some dangerous people. That's why he really left town. He was running from his debts. He sold our stuff to pay them off but claimed he would replace everything once he got back on his feet. I'd had enough. I told Mike to leave immediately. Sam tried to argue that we couldn't throw him out in the middle of the week, but I stood my ground. I said either Mike leaves now, or I would report the theft to the police. Mike started crying and guilt-tripping Sam about family loyalty. He even called their mother right there, telling her we were making him homeless. Poor Mill called us crying, begging us to let Mike stay. She offered to send money for his rent. Sam almost caved, but for the first time, I saw real doubt in his eyes. The theft of his watch, a gift from their late father, really hurt him. He told his mother he needed time to think. Mike left to stay with a friend, but this isn't over. He's been texting Sam constantly, alternating between angry accusations and tearful apologies. He's told the entire family that we're cruel and heartless. Most of them are pressuring us to take him back. Sam is really struggling with this situation. Last night, he confessed that he's always felt responsible for Mike since their father passed. Their mom worked multiple jobs to support them, so Sam basically raised Mike. He feels like he failed as a brother. I tried to tell him that Mike's choices are his own, but years of guilt don't disappear overnight. I refuse to back down though. It's one thing to be irresponsible with your own life, but stealing from family who helped you? That crosses a line. Sam changed our locks, but he's still unsure about cutting Mike off completely. He wants to give him one last chance if he agrees to get help for his gambling addiction. I know my husband has a good heart, but sometimes his kindness gets taken advantage of. I hate seeing him torn between his brother and doing what's right. But Mike needs to face consequences for once in his life. I just hope Sam stays strong and doesn't let guilt cloud his judgment. For now, we're at a stalemate. Mike is still with his friend but claims he'll be kicked out soon. The family keeps calling us. Sam is stressed and barely sleeping. I'm standing firm on my decision but worried about the long-term impact on my marriage. I'll update again if anything major happens. Update 2, Mike finally left our apartment 3 weeks ago, but not before causing complete chaos in our lives. After my last update, things took an even darker turn when we discovered the real reason Mike was so desperate to stay with us. One morning, a woman named Anna showed up at our door looking for Mike. She was 7 months pregnant and clearly distressed. At first, Mike denied knowing her, but Anna had proof, texts, photos, and medical documents showing Mike knew about the pregnancy for months. She revealed that Mike was her longtime boyfriend back home, and they had been together for 2 years before he came to the US. Anna explained that when she told Mike about the pregnancy, he convinced her not to tell anyone, promising he would send for her once he was settled in America. Instead, he blocked her on everything and disappeared. She only found him through mutual friends who saw his social media posts in NYC. She spent her savings coming here to confront him. The revelation hit Sam particularly hard. Their own father had abandoned them when Sam was 12 and Mike was 8. Sam had practically raised Mike, always trying to be the father figure their dad never was. Learning that Mike planned to abandon his own child just like their father did broke something in Sam. He couldn't even look at his brother. When Sam confronted Mike about the pregnancy, Mike's reaction was horrific. He accused Anna of trying to trap him, claimed the baby probably wasn't his, and said he never wanted kids anyway. He showed zero remorse or sense of responsibility. He even suggested that Anna should take care of the problem and stop bothering him. That was the final straw for Sam. Sam completely lost control for the first time in his life. He yelled at Mike about their own father, about all the sacrifices their mother made, about how he had wasted every opportunity given to him. Then he physically threw Mike's belongings into the hallway and told him to never contact us again. I had never seen my husband so angry and hurt. Of course, Mill got involved immediately. She called us crying, saying we had to help Mike figure things out. She offered to come to America herself to help with the baby. But Sam stood firm this time. He told his mother that Mike needed to face consequences for once in his life, just like their father never did. Mike has been alternating between harassing us and playing victim. He's been calling and texting nonstop, switching between angry accusations and tearful apologies. Sometimes he threatens to tell the whole family what horrible people we are, other times he begs for another chance. He's staying at a homeless shelter now, trying to guilt us about it. Anna reached out to thank us for finally making Mike face reality. She said she's not asking for money or marriage, she just wanted her child to know their father. She even offered to let Mike be involved on his own terms. But Mike still refuses to acknowledge any responsibility. Sam is struggling badly with everything. He keeps saying he failed Mike, that maybe if he had been stricter years ago, this wouldn't have happened. The parallel with their father's abandonment haunts him. He's barely sleeping and has started drinking more than usual. The extended family is divided. Some understand our position, especially after learning about Anna. Others still think family should stick together no matter what. They keep pressuring us to take Mike back, saying he needs support now more than ever. But I know enabling him further would only make things worse. I feel vindicated about my initial instincts about Mike, but watching my husband suffer kills me. Sam put his whole life into trying to make his brother a better man than their father was. Now he feels like he failed at the one thing he dedicated his life to. I try to tell him he did his best, but the wounds are too fresh. That's where things stand now. Mike is still in the city, Anna is staying with friends until the baby comes, and Sam is trying to process this betrayal. I'll update if anything significant changes. Update 3, it's been 4 months since everything happened with Mike. A lot has changed, so here's the final update on our situation. The baby was born last month, a healthy boy. Mike didn't show up at the hospital or respond to any messages about his son. Anna named the baby Daniel after her father. She's moved into a small apartment and started working part-time while her friend helps with childcare. She's filed for child support, though I doubt she'll get much from Mike given his situation. Sam went to see his nephew at the hospital. It was incredibly emotional for him, holding this innocent baby who would grow up without a father just like he did. He broke down completely in the car afterward. That visit changed something in him though. He stopped feeling guilty about Mike and instead focused his energy on being there for Daniel. We've been helping Anna with baby supplies and Sam visits Daniel regularly. He's determined that his nephew won't grow up feeling abandoned by his entire paternal family like he and Mike did. Even Mill has come around. She flew in to meet her grandson and was ashamed of Mike's behavior. She stopped defending him and now sends monthly packages for the baby. Mike finally got a job as a bartender and moved in with some roommates. He still hasn't met Daniel or shown any interest in his son. When Sam tried talking to him about it last week, Mike's response was chilling. He said he never wanted to be a father and we should all stop trying to force him into it. He claimed he was nothing like their father because at least he was honest about not wanting his kid. That conversation was the last straw for Sam. He told Mike that their father was actually better than him, at least he stuck around for 8 years before leaving. Mike had abandoned his child before he was even born. Sam said he was done trying to help someone who refused to be a better man. He blocked Mike's number and told him not to contact us again. The rest of the family has largely turned their backs on Mike too, especially after seeing how devoted Sam is to baby Daniel. It's hard to defend someone who shows zero interest in his own child while his brother steps up to fill that role. Sam still has rough days where he questions everything, but he's mostly at peace with his decision. He's focused on breaking the cycle of abandonment in their family, even if it's through being an uncle rather than helping his brother. Anna has been amazing through all this. She never badmouths Mike to the baby and says Daniel can form his own opinion when he's older. She's grateful for our support and includes us in all his milestones. Looking back, my instincts about Mike were right from the beginning. Sometimes the hardest part of helping someone is knowing when to stop. While this situation caused a lot of pain, it ultimately brought clarity and helped us set healthy boundaries. Sam is a better man than both his father and brother, he just needed to realize it himself. We're focusing now on being there for Daniel and creating a better family environment than the one Mike is choosing to walk away from. That's all from me. Thanks everyone for the support through this whole journey.